What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today, President Biden and the Biden administration did something that many people have been asking for a little while. Well, I'm going to address that announcement in just a minute. But first, I just want to say that there's a lot of talks out there regarding what's coming for that 1.2 and the 3.5 trillion dollar infrastructure packages. What we know is that even though the $1.2 trillion bill has passed through the Senate, Nancy Pelosi, she does not plan to put this on the floor of the House anytime soon. She wants to see the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill pass first, and then she will address the $1.2 trillion bipartisan bill. So, with that said, there's a lot of talks, there's a lot of discussions, there's a lot of bickering and back and forth going on between lawmakers at this time. But as we know more and we have an idea of where we're going with this, I promise I'll bring you that update as soon as possible. One thing I can tell you is that the vote for that $3.5 trillion budget resolution is going to happen on Tuesday. So we are just a handful of days away from that. But between now and then, chances are things could change. So we will see what happens as we move forward. But again, as always, as I know more, I promise I will share more. Here's what you need to understand. Right now, many moderate Democrats are very upset with Bernie Sanders and the rest of the Democratic Party that are in support of this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, also known as a stimulus package. They say that they can't in good faith support a bill that they have no idea what is going to be in it. And I think this is very interesting. I think this is something we've seen before where lawmakers, Democrats last time, they voted on a bill and had no idea what was going to be in it. That was last time. That was the last budget reconciliation. And now moderates are saying that no, we don't support this because we don't know what's going to be in it. So I think that's a little bit, it's interesting the way they put it this time because they didn't know what was in the last bill, but they still voted on it. Bernie Sanders will be going around the United States and he's going to be campaigning for this bill. He's going to be going to Indiana. He'll be going to, I think, Ohio or Iowa, one of the two. I think it's Ohio, though. And he wants to just see more Americans get behind this bill, get behind the idea, because he states if more Americans support this, then the state reps will support it as well, which is most likely true. One thing we are hearing is that moderates want Bernie Sanders to specify what exactly is going to be included into this bill. And we know things like extending the child tax credit payments, free 2 years of community college, there's going to be child care, elder care. However, there's not a lot of specifics behind it. For child care, what Bernie Sanders has said is that people will not have to pay more than 7% of their monthly income towards child care. There will be a cap, a limit. Well, okay, that's great, but what else is included? And so there's a lot of stuff that is missing. There's a lot of specifics and details we have no idea about. But that is why Bernie Sanders is saying that he will explain all this. But first, the committees need to work on this in order to know exactly what's going to be in it and how much will be issued or spent for certain priorities. So again, as we know more there, I promise I'll fill you in on that as well. Now, one of the things I just want to say first off, before I get to the next update, is I just want to thank you guys for always asking questions, always hitting the like button, subscribing as well. For one, hitting that like button really does help out the channel. And also when you ask questions, it does help out the channel. It helps me out because now I know what you really want to see. Now, one of the things I get asked a lot is, what about Social Security? Here's the issue with that. Even though I continue to look for answers, and I bet many of you do as well, the problem is the White House and Congress are giving us absolutely nothing regarding Social Security. And when are Social Security recipients gonna receive a little bit more, gonna receive a little bit extra to help them get through the crisis that we're currently facing? So, as I know more there, I promise I will fill you in on that update. So always look for my videos and just see, does it say anything about Social Security? If it does, then I have an update. If I don't say anything about Social Security, there's probably no update in that video. Now, some people are saying that we need to be extremely careful what we provide in the next bill. Right now, the Congressional Budget Office has stated that there's going to be over $250 billion added to the federal deficit because of that $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. But we are being told that that bill is going to be fully funded. Well, here's where moderates are having an issue. Moderates are saying that when 20% of the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill is going to be geared towards or pretty much put into the federal deficit, that creates a big issue for a larger bill. So just to give you an idea, okay, if 20% of the $3.5 trillion bill is going to be added to the federal deficit, well, that's going to equate to about $700 billion. $700 billion is going to be added to the federal deficit on top of the $250 billion, so about $1 trillion more added to the federal deficit. This is why moderates say they do not support the current Democratic strategy, but we will see. Now, one thing I can tell you is we are going to get more reports on what the Congressional Budget Office says. We're going to get more reports on what Democrats want to do, what progressives are pushing for, and obviously what Republicans want to see as well. But again, those reports, as they come out, I will fill you in on those updates. One thing that I want to bring to your attention, one of the big discussions in recent weeks regarding the next infrastructure bill is whether or not it will include an extension to unemployment benefits. Now, I bring this up because with just a little over 2 more weeks left of the federal unemployment benefits, that's the $300 per week boost, the pandemic unemployment assistance, and long-term unemployment. Well, with just a little over 2 weeks left, President Biden has gone and done it again. President Biden, he has pushed the responsibility back onto another party. He has actually told states today, and the White House said this as well, that states can continue paying the extra unemployment federal benefits, okay, beyond September 6th using the federal stimulus funding from the last stimulus package. The last stimulus package, the American Rescue Plan, this included about $350 billion that went to state and local governments. Well, President Biden has said they can now use these funds to go and give extra unemployment, the $300 per week boost, extend pandemic unemployment assistance for gig workers and self-employed individuals, and also long-term unemployment. And here's the issue, okay, which some say this is an issue. I think this is actually a good thing, and here's the reason why. Right now, experts, and this is the past couple months, experts have been saying if the federal unemployment benefits get extended, then it will take away the chances of a stimulus check happening. Okay? So here's where things get very interesting. Is now that President Biden has pushed this off to the states and said, okay, hey, states, if you want to extend the federal unemployment benefits, it's on you. You can do it. Just use the federal stimulus funding that we gave you from your share of the $350 billion and take some of that and put it into unemployment. Well, here's what we know. This means that right now there is a higher chance of seeing a stimulus check because the federal government isn't giving away more money to states, more money to unemployment benefits. They're just going to reallocate the money that was already going to the states, and they're saying, if you want to do it, you take that money and put it towards unemployment benefits. So, according to experts, so far, they say this is a good move. This is something that could be seen as a way for Democrats to include stimulus checks to those that aren't unemployed, to those that do not have children, to those that need additional assistance. So that is good news. Here's the problem. The problem is when the states were tasked with providing rental assistance, and this was back in, January, well, the states took forever. It took them all of January, and we thought February they're going to have this portal open and it was going to be ready to go. But February came and went. We got into March, April, May, June, July, and we are in August. We're almost in September. We're already through the middle of August. But what I can tell you is states are still so slow at getting this money out. So what we are hearing right now, many experts are worried that the Biden administration doesn't really know what they are doing. And so they're just pushing this this responsibility off to the states. They're just kicking the ball over into someone else's court. And so that's not good. And these same experts say that they worried that if the rental assistance money couldn't get out within 8 months, why does the Biden administration think it would be any different for unemployment benefits? Some say they do not believe this is going to work. They think most states are just going to object to this idea, not because they don't want to provide more to the American people and to their residents, but it would be actually too time consuming. It would make them have to create another system, and it just won't work. I don't know. We will see, but let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think the states would be able to do this? Or do you think more are going to object to this because it's going to be more work on the states and they're going to have to use some of their federal stimulus funding? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, like I said, experts are worried that the Biden administration doesn't really know which direction to go, and they're just kicking the can or the ball into someone else's court. Well, what we heard today, and I thought this was somewhat shocking, is President Biden has been telling White House officials that he has trouble sleeping at the White House, and he would rather spend more time in Delaware. And according to a few reports, he does have plans to spend the weekend in Delaware tomorrow. They plan on heading there tomorrow, I believe. So we will see what happens there. That is something that is going to be very interesting if a president doesn't even want to stay at the White House and would rather go back to his home state. But again, luckily, it's not too far away. One thing I can tell you right now is there is a lot of talks on additional stimulus checks. Now, and when I say stimulus checks, I want to be 100% clear on this. I'm not just talking about here's a $1,200, $600, or $1,400 check. I'm talking about the child tax credit payments. A lot of people are calling those stimulus checks, which they technically are. But it's just an advance on the child tax credit payment the American people or the parents would receive at the end of the year. What we are hearing right now, and this is something that I brought up a couple times in the past as well, is why don't we see some form of a tax credit for families or people without children, and everyone kept bringing up, well, that's the earned income tax credit. So what we're actually hearing, and this is something that multiple lawmakers have brought up in the past, is why don't we increase the earned income tax credit? Let's increase it a little bit, maybe almost double it. Let's increase it. Let's also raise that threshold, and this is what Ilhan Omar, I believe it was Ilhan Omar, it might have been somebody else, actually brought this up, was let's increase the amount that you make and make that limit $90,000 per year, because that would allow more people to go and get the earned income tax credit. Well, what we're hearing now is there is a very good, strong possibility that the earned income tax credit is going to be modified. We're going to see some adjustments there. And there's a good chance we could see next year that the earned income tax credit could be a monthly payment. Could be. Not a guarantee, but could be. So, as I know more there, I promise I'll fill you in on that news as well. Now, here's something else that we're hearing. Right now, okay, and this has been something that the Biden administration has been slowly tackling, every so often. But another big move from President Biden today and the Education Department is they are going to be discharging another $5.8 billion in student debt. And this is actually being held by about 323,000 federal loan borrowers. So this now brings the total of debt forgiven to $8.7 billion just over the past 6 to 7 months. So that's pretty substantial. Now, currently, there's about 45 million people who own have student loans and have debt. So, this equates to about $1.7 trillion. Democratic lawmakers have made it a point to push President Biden to make sure he forgives all of this. All $1.7 trillion to those 45 million people. Now, I don't know if that's going to be possible. I don't know if that's something that's going to happen this year, but what I can tell you is lawmakers like Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Elizabeth Warren, they are both going to keep pushing President Biden almost daily to forgive these student loans and provide more assistance and more relief to those people. Now, in COVID-related news, a study done in the UK now shows that the Pfizer vaccine loses some of its efficacy against the Delta COVID variant after 3 months. After just 3 months. But health experts are saying that they need more proof before they can recommend the next steps. This, according to some, is why the Biden administration is pushing for booster shots 8 months later. However, some health officials in the past have stated that a 6-month booster shot is more likely in the short term. However, later on, that booster shot would most likely turn into a 1-year thing. So that's what we're hearing at this time. But again, as I know more regarding stimulus, the infrastructure package, what President Biden is doing, and all the COVID news, I promise I will bring you that update as well. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you could and you enjoyed this update, go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.